Just want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Tech Academy. Tech Academy is a software development boot camp which offers online or in-person training. Their program is self-paced and offers students flexible scheduling. They also offer open enrollment, which means you can start at any time. So if you're looking for a coding boot camp, I definitely recommend checking them out.
Hey, what's up? John Summers here. So, I am making a few decisions in life that I thought I'd tell you guys about. It'll probably affect this channel to some degree. One of the decisions was that I was going to stop making 2 videos a day and start going to 1 video a day. Some of you would have been excited by that. I don't know. It's kind of funny that some of you are like, stop making so many videos. And others of you are like, you need to keep making more videos. But, you know, I did this video on why I'm quitting Simple Programmer. And a lot of you were really supportive of that. I appreciate that. You kind of understand what's going on. So I think a lot of things are going to change, probably. I talked about this Metamorphosis 3.0, and it's a little bit different than what I thought it was. It's kind of funny how you change and you don't really know exactly what the change is going to be. You think you do, but you don't. So one thing that I kind of realized, so yesterday, I'll give you kind of the story. I was going for my run yesterday, actually my second run of the day, because I had already done my first run. I was planning on fasting all day. I was going to do my second run and then go to kickboxing. And as I was doing my second run, like the first one was already hard. My glutes were kind of sore from lifting. And as I just was trying to get motivated to do that second run, and I had to stop I guess I ran 3 miles instead of 5, and I had to stop and start walking because it just was not happening, right? And it was just pain, right? I was just like, what the fuck? What am I doing here, right? And I was thinking about going to kickboxing, and should I go to kickboxing? And while I'm walking home, I'm having this kind of discussion, this dialogue with myself, and I'm like, why are you doing this, John? Like, why are you busting your ass this hard right now? Now, don't get me wrong, okay? I don't want to be a hypocrite here in the fact that, you know, I've done videos, right? And you can check out the videos on becoming a bulldog. You know, maybe we have a playlist on being a bulldog. I've done videos where I tell you to work hard, to fucking bust ass, to kick ass. And I'm totally 100% in support of that for you. I'm just kidding. But, you know, for me too, at different times, right? I talk about this, about phases and seasons of life. And I got to this point where, you know, I'm walking and I'm thinking to myself, like, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, what is it that's compelling you to, like, I'm feeling guilty when I'm, like, you know, I did some videos, if you've seen recently, where I was feeling guilty because I fell off the wagon. I talked about that a little bit, and I need to get back on the wagon and all this. And I realized that, like, part of the reason, right, that I quit Simple Programmer was to start taking some of the stress off of me. And it's not like, it's like, so I could be more free, so I could actually have motivation to actually do something that I want to do, right? And it was coming to the point where working with Simple Programmer, as much as I love you programmers and I love building the company and even doing these videos and doing my workouts and all of this life I created sort of was a prison, and I wasn't enjoying it, right? I was just getting through it. I was just like forcing myself, gritting my teeth every day for years, right? And I was thinking about, like, why are you doing this? Ultimately, why are you doing this? Is it the money? It's not really the money, right? Is it the fame? Well, what is it, right? And what I came to, right, at least at that moment, because I'd stripped away the Simple Programmer part of it, right? I mean, I'd taken away a lot of my responsibilities in life. Like, all I had to do was, like, fucking live and work out and eat. That was it, right? That's pretty much it. And answer a couple of personal emails, handle some of my real estate and taxes. That's it, right? That's a pretty simple fucking life. But it still felt stressful. It still felt like I had this burden on me. And what I realized when I asked myself this question, when I keep asking myself this question and kept probing, is that my identity was caught up in this guy. It was caught up in 2 things. One, in being a fucking bulldog, which to some degree that is my identity, right? That's like my deep identity. I think that I'm always going to be that guy, but I don't always have to be being that guy, if that makes sense, right? I don't always have to be fucking chewing everyone's pant legs, right? And biting and holding on to something and freaking attacking it all the time. Like that you can't just go all the time like that, and I don't have to, right? So that was one thing. And what I realized was, I'm still sick, by the way, the second identity that I was holding on to and the one that was really burning me here, was this identity of being this jacked, ripped, six-pack abs guy, right? And so every time that I wasn't that, I was feeling that loss, right? And so I was going after this, right? I was spending so much time and so much effort, and there was so much pressure in keeping up this identity, keeping up this jacked, super ripped guy identity, and trying to get down to that super low body fat, right? And I've talked about it on this channel, and some of you disagree with my quest for that. And finally, I think we're finally on the same side here, because I realized that the problem was not the quest. The problem, see, here's the thing, okay? If my goal was to get on the stage and compete and get down to maybe 6 or 5% body fat, or even just 7% body fat, and shoot some magazines, or I just wanted to be there. If that was really what I wanted to do, then not only would I have accomplished it, okay, but that would have been fine. The problem was I felt that I had to do it because that was my identity. Because to some degree, that's what a lot of you expect, right? You're like, oh, this is John. He's a jack guy, right? My friends expected that. My family expects that. Everyone around me expects me to be this guy, right? And so it's I had to do these crazy workouts, and I had to keep on, doing this. And I'll still probably, it's not like I'm quitting everything. But at the time when I was walking, that was kind of the discussion I was having in my head, is I said, fuck, I'm quitting everything. Quitting simple programming wasn't enough. I need to quit more. And, I've kind of worked it out, but at the time when I was walking, I was talking about, in my head, I was saying, okay, well, I'm definitely quitting running because I don't like running. I didn't like running for a long time. I mean, I've run all these races, and some of it, the adventure and the journey was fun in getting up to the point of being able to run a half marathon and then run that full marathon last year. But I promised myself I was going to quit, after the last half that I did, and I didn't really quit, right? In fact, I upped the running. I started running every day, and I got on this treadmill, basically, of life, of trying to, fulfill this identity that I didn't really want, doing things I didn't want to do just because I was afraid of losing that identity that I had attached myself to. And so what I came to the realization is that I had strongly attached myself to this identity, the identity of the guy that makes 2 YouTube videos a day. And that's fine. I can still do that. I don't know, but I'm not going to put the pressure on myself, right? I attach myself to the identity of this fucking bulldog that's doing Muay Thai and running 10 miles a day and fasting and lifting, right? And, again, I'm not going to totally quit all that, but I had planned. I said to myself, at least, I said, I'm not going to run anymore, and I'm not going to do any more Muay Thai. I'm just going to lift. In fact, maybe I'll lift 5 days a week. And then I said, I had to back up and say, wait a minute, John, you're not going to add more lifting. No, you're not going to add more lifting. But I came down to the point where I said, I'm just going to run, or I'm just going to lift 3 times a week. Just going to keep doing my lifting, right? And I'm not going to restrict my eating ridiculous. I'm going to go ahead and, I'll still eat the 1 meal a day, but I'll not be eating veggie bowls and shit and just making my life miserable. Since then, I have come, and I guess where I'm at right now, right? Just to let you guys know, the biggest thing here is, again, it's not necessarily what I'm going to be doing with my fitness routine and stuff, and I may get more fatter on this channel. It's true. It's true. And it may be just for a time. It may be for a phase. Again, I think I've just worn myself out physically and mentally, and that I need to actually completely release the pressure valve and just take some time to do that. And so these videos, again, I'll probably keep doing them because I feel good. This morning I felt like doing videos, so I did videos, right? But there's no guarantee, right? And there's no guarantee on this stuff. But the important thing is, like I said, is that it was the identity thing, right? Is that I developed this identity, and I let myself gain this attachment. And I've removed myself from a lot of the other identity attachments that I had. It was hard to part with simple programming, in fact, because that was such an identity. But, I guess maybe this year, maybe this metamorphosis is the formlessness, the detachment, the true detachment from some of these identities, because it's hard. I mean, it's and I'll tell you, I'll be totally honest with you. This is going to be kind of a long video, I guess, but I'll be totally honest with you. There's a certain fucking high that you get, and it causes this attachment when you're running down the beach, here in Pacific Beach, where I'm at in San Diego, and you got your shirt off, I'll be honest with you, and and there's like, guys are turning their head, girls are turning their head, people are commenting, they're like, damn, that guy's jacked, damn, that guy's ripped, right? It sort of like fuels this fucking reward system in your brain and makes you attach yourself to that identity, and you're like, what would happen if I stopped getting that praise? And see, some of you that are really aware right now, I'll say aware, I'm gonna say another word, but we'll say we're perceptive right now. We'll say, John, that's external validation, right? I did a video. There's gonna be a lot of video links to this. You might have to check the description to get all the video links, but I did this video on external validation. Some of you are gonna say, that's external validation, John, and you're right. And that's how you get attached to fucking identities, is when you seek external validation and then you get it, you become a fucking slave. You become a slave to other people, right? And it's not like these other random people are bossing me around and like knowing that I'm a slave to them, but I'm a slave to their praise, right? If they withdraw that, I'm less, right? If I'm not getting that, I'm less. And so it became this, you can see how this identity becomes a slavery for you, because then you say, well, fuck, if I eat shit, if I don't run, if I lose this, if I gain some body fat and I'm not this super jack guy anymore, then I'm nothing, and I lose all this stuff that I want. And your friends and everyone reinforces this by giving you kudos, right? It's the same thing, like you shouldn't tell kids that they're smart or beautiful or things like that, because then if they're not doing that, right? Read Carol Dweck's book, Mindset. I'm going to link to a lot of these things here. Check the description in the card. But if you do that, they can develop a fixed mindset, and the same thing is attaching to an identity. And then when they're not succeeding, when they're not that thing, when they're not smart, when they're not beautiful at the time, they feel like they've lost themselves. So that's where I was at. I think for the last few months, I've been kind of in this depressive kind of state. I don't want to say depression, but because I've been attached to this identity that I no longer motivated me. Again, I said at the beginning here that had I really wanted to achieve these goals, right, then it'd be fine. It'd be fine what I was doing. But my compelling reason for doing it was not to gain something, but to not lose something, right? I didn't want to lose something I already had, this external validation that I was getting. So this year probably will be that year of metamorphosis, of extracting myself from that. And again, it doesn't mean that I'm going to get all out of shape and not exercise or any of this stuff, or just going to just say, fuck it, I'm just going to eat Taco Bell every day. Not going to happen, right? But I'm going to be very careful to make sure that I give less of a fuck, okay? And I'm not so have to reach this goal, I have to do this thing, and I'm taking the pressure off as much as I can right now. Again, there's going to be points, hopefully in the future, where I have specific goals that I want to hit, and I'm going to attack them like a bulldog, because that is part of my nature. That's who I am, right, to some degree, and I've developed that capacity. But even to that degree, I have to let go of some of that, right? Some of that first identity I talked about is that I don't always have to be attacking something. I can be in a contraction phase, rather than this expansive phase all the fucking time, right? And it's okay, right? Again, some people will say, oh, I'll lose some of that external validation, right? Of saying, well, you're the bulldog, you're the guy that just like works harder than anyone else. Fine. I don't need to have that. That's not my identity. That is my core identity. I don't need to attach myself to that as well. So, just for those of you that are curious, where have I landed on the fitness side of it? I hate to actually say something because it may change, and I'll just tell you that it may change, but I'm kind of playing it by ear. But my current plan is to basically continue doing the 1 meal a day, because that works out well for me. Not be super concerned. I'm actually going to probably drop the running to just Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 miles like I used to do, and on Sundays like a 5 or 10 miler. Taking Saturday completely off from working out, still lifting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, still kind of lifting schedule, and I might throw some fasts in there, right? I'll probably do like a cheat day on Fridays, and and just kind of not be as ridiculous and not as strict, and not really care so much, right? Just not going to get out of shape, and I'm not going to be aiming for this fucking ridiculous goal that's been driving me nuts for such a long time. So there you have it. That is the story. At least that's what it is now. And this is a journey, right? This is a path, right? I don't know where I'm going. I'm hoping too that my inspiration for doing these YouTube videos increases now that I'm able to be a little bit more honest. Because, and the thing is, like, it's not like I wasn't honest in my other videos. It was just that, like, I didn't realize that this was going on. So there was this part of me that was like trying to put on the face and trying to do the thing and trying to say the thing and trying to honestly tell you what I think, but it was on top of the reality, which I wasn't facing because I wasn't seeing, which was that this shit was going on underneath. That underneath all of this work and all these things that you're seeing, there was this John that was kind of dying because he was like attaching himself to these identities that were stretching him so fucking far and required so much effort, and it was just like sheer force of will, right? In order to accomplish something in life, it's important to have at least a little bit of motivation. Right? And it should be a motivation of a gain, right? It shouldn't be a motivation of averting a loss. If your whole life, becomes a point where all you're trying to do is avert a loss, it's fucking pain. It's ridiculous. Like, you've got nothing that you're actually striving for. You're just trying to not lose shit. And that was the place that I started to get to. And that happens when you attach your identity to things. I'll riff one last time here. It's really important to make sure that you're not doing things just because you're fearing loss. Because when you do that, it becomes shit. It becomes the wrong kind of grind. You should embrace a grind, but it's because you're trying to get somewhere. It's like because you have this inspiration, you have this goal, you have this at least a little bit of motivation. Even though you may have to work at times without motivation, you've got enough motivation for what you're doing to carry you forward. And I didn't have that. I haven't had that for a while. So we'll see what happens. And that may at some point mean that I have to cut this YouTube channel out. It may mean that. But for now, at least I'm here. And I got to tell you, if you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button. You may be in for a wild ride. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Take care.